Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man. Coming to you from parts unknown. Well, it looked like things were getting off to a good start, but kind of went a little bit sideways. And I'll play an intro in a minute to give people time to come into the chats. But like I said, it looked like it started. I don't know why they said Manny on there instead of money. But anyway, little did I know, before I play my intro, little did I know that what I played yesterday was going to be closer to the truth. I thought it was more of a joke than anything else. But let me see if I can get this thing to play.
Where's the money, Zelenskyy? We want that money, Zelenskyy. NATO says you're good for it. Where's the
Did you all see Trump welcome people to the White House? This was before all this stuff with Zelenskyy. This happened yesterday.
Such a good job. First Lady worked very hard on making it perfect, and I think you're going to really love it. And I heard you were here, and I said, let's stop by and say hello. And it's a group of very smart-looking people, I must say. Very smart. Maybe someday you'll be here as the president, right? Somebody in this group has a chance. Have a good time. Have a great tour, and you're going to give them a special tour, okay? You're going to get a special tour. Have fun, everybody.
See, Zelenskyy, that's all you had to do was be nice. But let me play some intros. I see people coming in. Because I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Epstein business and General Flynn on top of this diplomatic debacle. So let me play some intros and then we'll get down to business.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. Do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. There were a lot of men in those planes, a lot of men who visited that island, a lot of powerful men who came into that apartment.
Successfully tried to take down the wrong person.
And he's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and HE in America for their illegal racist enforcement of the law.
I'm going to pause this a bit, and then I'm going to play the rest of it, and that way I can see where I get dinged, okay, on a copyright. I don't know. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't.
The
situation with the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it.
All right, so we'll see what happens there. So we got people coming in. It's nice to see everybody. Boy, what a day. What a day. There's somebody at the top. I can't read the name. Says, hi, Mountain Man, but I'm going to probably catch him a little farther down. Hi, Melinda. Wayne, how you doing? Thank you for the thumbs up. Finding Dory. Oh, you're the first one in. Ha, ha, ha. Miss Bender Sue. Alan, nice to see you. Benjamin. Todd's here. Flannel Cheese. Sissy. Ha, ha, ha. Andrew, let's see. Tank's here. He said Z is over. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. He's got to sleep with one eye open, one eye closed, and the open one rotating. As we used to say back in the day. Let's see. Oh, these chats are jumping around. Pappy Two Bears is here. Nice to see you. Rebecca's here. Bambi's here. Bruce is here. Jess and Bean. Nice to see you. And welcome to my new subscribers. And all those who watched the video after the live stream. I appreciate you joining us. So I kind of like leaving that picture of Mr. T looking from the background. But you know what? I tell you, this mess with Zelenskyy that happened today. You know, Starmer coming in beforehand, and then you had Zelenskyy. They were setting him up for a 1-2 punch, or so they thought. They thought they could set him up with a 1-2 punch. And, you know, Starmer go in there and soften him up, and then Zelenskyy come in with his hard-line crap, and they don't know who they're messing with. They really don't. And the good thing about it is that it's getting people to look at the whole situation and the history of the thing. And it didn't take long for the memes to come out here. Here's one I thought, if I had time, I would have made it. Right here. No, Zelenskyy, no. Ha ha. So I don't know if you got these in your all's quiver to post on Meta or wherever. And I've got some clips. Of course, you got to have the face smack. I had one with Putin doing that to Zelenskyy. I had that in one of my intros. I'll have to dig up. But, yeah, of course, the lefties are going nuts. The lefties are going nuts. Never mind what's best for the United States. Never mind that. We always got to feel bad for everybody else. Here's Adam Schiff. Adam Shifty Schiff. All the creeps coming out of the woodwork. A hero and a coward are meeting in the Oval Office today. And when the meeting is over, the hero will return home to Ukraine. Yeah, he's going to have to stop at a drive-thru like a Burger King or something because he ain't going to get lunch at the White House. He got thrown out. And the way he behaved, he deserved it. Here's a picture I used on my thumbnail. Somebody put anonymously. They said, If only you knew how bad things really are. Yeah. Yeah, we know though. We know. So Viktor Orban, of course, was coming to Trump's aid. Here we go. Go home to mommy. Goodbye, little. This was the picture of Trump. Who was he hollering at in this original picture when he was standing in the doorway, just like what he's doing now? What was... We're not sure of exactly what he was saying, but he was speaking to somebody who was leaving the White House trying to get into Trump's first administration and got the brush off by Trump. And when he was walking away, this is the photo of Trump. Who am I talking about? It wasn't Zelenskyy. Let's see how many of you all remember. Hi, Debbie. Nice to see you. Ha, ha, ha. Let's see. Who gets it? Who was this? What meeting was this picture actually taken from to make this meme? See if anybody remembers. If their minds can go back that far. Let's see. I've got a clip. I got to be careful of because it's got Alex and then Jones in it. I want to go over some of General Flynn and his comments and warnings to Comey, and also about the Epsteinio debacle. That's a good guess. Schumer, Araceli got it. Mitt Romney, when you told Mitt Romney to put an egg in his shoe and beat it, that's where they got that photo from. Very good. Ha ha ha. Araceli is keeping her ear to the ground, keeping up with stuff. But anyway, here's what Don Jr. put up about this meeting. Nailed it. This midget and his demands. So he came in there making big demands, and he was rude. He was trying to push buttons. I think, to some degree, the Oval Office was a stage. Zelenskyy is part of the show. And, yeah, I think it's all there to get people to look at the whole story and to wake people up. I mean, people are quickly falling off the hooray for Ukraine bandwagon and seeing this kind of desultory behavior in the White House. Of course, we have here's a good one from Ildonado Trumpo. Ildonado Trumpo. Here he goes. So, but of course, we got our usual jerks with Midas Trash Network. They put out a video an hour. Where did I put their stuff? One they put up. Trump put his hands on him. Trump's screaming match with Zelenskyy instantly backfires. Gets instant whatever. 177,000 views in 1 hour. So we have the wild and crazies that no matter what Trump does, they'll always be against him. But that's going to be whittled down to about 15% of the population. Here's some of the videos they put out in like a couple hours time. A video an hour, roughly, better than that. Zelenskyy punches back on Fox. He did have a halfway normal interview with Bret Baier, but he did say he wasn't going to apologize. So Trump put his hands on him. You just saw that one. Then 6 a.m. freak out. Trump wakes up in panic. Trump quits peace talks. No, he didn't cancel peace talks. It was going nowhere. It was going nowhere. But of course, my trash network, they put this is the kind of stuff they put out if you go to their page. This is one of their big videos, 923,000 views, where they claimed we had this intimate interview with Joe Biden, who discussed his legacy, regrets, future. Biden tells all. Well, that was a 9-minute setup with I don't know how many different creators there. I believe that that dopey David Pakman was there. This goofball, the one I say his hair looks like pigeon fuzz around a pigeon's butt. Okay, his beard. All right, I've seen more fuzz around a pigeon's butt. But anyway, all it was a half-conscious Biden speaking to a group of people for 9 minutes, and then they hustled him out of there. That's the way they fake people out. Compare that to Trump. This is Trump today. Dan Scavino put this up. 228-25, the most accessible president in U.S. history. He has no problem. Any question, ask it. If it's stupid, he'll tell you it's a stupid question. Any subject, China, Russia, tariffs, trade, whatever. Zelenskyy, whatever. So, yeah. Speaking of that, comparing the two, they're saying Trump did such a bad job and he's an embarrassment and all this stuff. Well, they forget about Biden using the can in his own pants at the Vatican. Okay. Well, here's a video right here. A good video. A nice young lady. Let her tell it. Hold on. I got to cut my mic off.
You know, I got to give it to you Democrats. You guys will definitely die on a hill, okay? Because I'm seeing people, oh my God, I'm embarrassed to be an American today. I can't believe what happened in the White House. It was revolting. It was disgusting. It was a shame. But you were proud to be an American when the president couldn't find his way off of a stage? You were proud to be an American when the vice president couldn't even put a sentence? Other moments to be embarrassed to be an American. Yet you choose the moment when somebody finally stands up and puts our country first, calls out the bullshit from this little embezzler, this little micro midget Oompa Loompa who comes over here demanding, stomping his little size 2 foot around. Now you're embarrassed to be an American? Please, spare me.
Yeah. His little size 2 Oompa Loompa. So, anyway, where's that video of him? I think I got a video of him when he came to the front of the White House. I might not have downloaded that. I'm not sure. What's this one? Let's see. This might be it. When Trump said, I don't know if this is it or not, but Trump did say it when he was going in the White House. Oh, he dressed nice for us. I don't know what this is. Let me see.
Excuse me, that was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
You're out of cards, Zelenskyy. Without us, you got no cards. So, yeah, I thought I had one of him coming into the White House at the beginning. But I'll tell you what, I don't know if you all can hear my voice over the, but I played this at the beginning. But he said, at least he dressed up for us. He came looking like Rudy Giuliani was saying tonight. He came looking like a bum. He came looking like a bum, like usual. His phony war-footing clothing. Yeah, he said, oh, you dressed up. I thought I had that in the studio. But anyway, Dan Scavino said, a unified team, all of them on the same page, behind the scenes today at the White House. So just to show there was unity. And then I think I got the behind the scenes footage after the meeting. I don't know if you all got to see it. It's actual footage. Now I have to say it's a parody, or I get in trouble. But anyway, right before I came up live, I ran into two things in the on the UTizzle feed. New York Post, troll arrested for threatening to, quote, gut Elon Musk and parade his corpse through the street. And I was like, man, things are getting bad, because I had other videos where people were doing stuff like that. I showed some of them. And I said, man, that's really bad. Bam, this one came up. What's his name? Asmund Gold or whatever. Hassan calls for people to KILL Republican Senator Rick Scott. That's the guy that I showed you was wearing a Hamas outfit, who claims that Israeli babies are legitimate targets. And yeah, I mean, they got to do something. We got to have some kind of controls. I know free speech, blah, blah, blah. But we can't keep having this kind of stuff going on. Not with the assassination attempts and everything like that. Tracy, how you doing? Yvonne, how you doing? KNS Cleanup, how you doing? Lone Wolf, nice to see you. Let's see. Who snuck in here while I was busy? Ha ha ha. Yeah, I would. All right, nice to see you all. So anyway, let me people were really PO'd about the Epstein stuff. And I went over some stuff last night, those of you who were with me. And that was the kind of stuff I was thinking was going to come out. Like the pictures of the underground rooms, right? The storage sheds that really lead to tunnel entrances. Rachel, and then her last name's Chandler. All that kind of stuff. A lot of people were thinking that was going to come out. We've known about that for 7 or 8 years, 10, 8, well, I say 7 years. The surface story, that's what I'm thinking about with this Zelenskyy meeting and the Starmer meeting. So many people don't know the background, because we're going back how many years to where Joe Biden got 10% to the big guy of the $1 billion that they withheld from Ukraine. We're talking 8 years ago. People who were voting the first time in this election at 18 were only 10 years old. But we've been watching it, including the Epstein Island stuff. Epstein got arrested the first time. How long ago, folks? Hi, television shows. How you doing? How long ago did he get arrested? He got arrested 10 years ago, wasn't it? No, it was longer than that. He might have got arrested in 2004. That's how far back this stuff goes. So, anyway, where is that? I got something about, I heard about Pam Bondi. Here we go. I don't know who's taking credit for this. Somebody posted this on Utizzle. I think it was, might have been off-topic show. I'm not sure. Pam Bondi must adhere to the 2009 executive order from the administration. Yeah, I believe Epstein was arrested in 2004. I'm not sure. Which requires the release of the Epstein and Kennedy files does not jeopardize foreign relations. This focus on foreign relations stems from Epstein's extensive international network, which stretched across multiple countries and could implicate foreign nationals or governments. Yeah, he got arrested in 2004, or the offenses occurred, had to go to trial, got a sweetheart deal, served a little itty-bitty sentence with liberal leave from the jail. And then when Trump got in, it was all reversed and he was rearrested. First charges in 2006. Yeah, his offenses occurred in 2004, Todd, I believe. So this has been going on for 20 years. 20 years. So now they're saying, well, Pam Bondi was in charge in Florida. Then that's why we should give her the side eye. Well, wait a minute. The cases got moved up to the Southern District of New York. Okay? It was taken away, moved up to the Southern District of New York. So that's what's being investigated now. And that brings me up to, let me see if I got General Flynn's. Here we go. Final warning. Final warning from General Flynn. Now, it seems as if he's focusing on Comey, right? Comey has the keys to a lot of stuff because he was head of the FBI at that time. There was a lot of criminality going on. Remember what I said about Michael Francis, okay? Big in the Colombo family. He had the other half of the account number to unlock $6 million in an offshore bank. They got the other half of that code, and the $6 million disappeared, was never in his court records, remember? And James Comey was with the FBI during that time. So it's not just James Comey getting in trouble for what he did to Trump. You've got this dirty business going on with mob dealings, drug dealers, and Epstein, and also the plot to take out the president. And that's just a few little tiny things the FBI has been involved in. But Flynn says this is my final warning as it relates to confirmations of real Donald Trump's nominees. If there are people inside of the ODNI, the C.I.A. or the FBI that are working to subvert the nominations. And then he goes through them all. I'm writing to let you know you better stop now and think before you go any further. There are so many people that are ready to be whistleblowers, and there is so much reporting currently flowing out. Not classified leaks, but leaks of subversive and treasonous behavior. This has end and trust. If it doesn't, you will be caught and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So that brings me to this video. And this is one I was talking about. It got AJ in it. Okay, so I don't know if I get a copyright over this. I might speed the video up. So don't mind me piddling with the video while it's playing. But anyway, let me cut it loose.
Appreciate General Flynn joining us. GeneralFlynn.com. I want to first get into the first major target, now an official target of criminal investigation of the D.C. FBI, now under America's control again, of Comey and the intel he's getting on what's about to happen. I'm told he will be indicted within 60 days.
Okay, I'm uninterrupted just to make sure the rhythm doesn't pick it out. But he's talking about Comey and all that stuff. All right.
60 to 90 days. He admittedly was the managerial kingpin of all this, not just Crossfire Hurricane, not just the sex operatives, not just targeting Flynn, not just all the lies, but everything else that came out of that. General Flynn, former director of the Defense Intelligence Agency, Gen Flynn on X. General, thank you so much. Then I want to get into Romania that you 6 months ago predicted would be the detonator to try to stop Trump if he got in, from stopping war and all the other side baseball, as you obviously...
That Romania, I'm glad he brought that up, because remember the rigged an election there, right? And then who gets to leave the country? That smut merchant, that digital smut merchant, pimp, Andrew Tate and his brother. Trump said he's not well. Oh, no, it was DeSantis said that they're not welcome in Florida. And I've expressed my opinion on those two characters. But anyway, let's let it continue.
Unofficially advised Trump. He's offered you 10 jobs, he said last week. We didn't take it. But you've, unlike anybody else, have the 35,000-foot view and the point-blank range view here. So I know there's a lot of topics. I want to hit a lot of them. But first, those two big ones. Wow. Going after Comey first, what do you know, sir? And how does it feel to have this monster who's on his face guilty of real crimes, who tried to destroy you and your family, lost your house, everything, built back...
No, Andrew Tate, tanks. You say FBI informant Andrew Tate was... He said his father was C.I.A.
Now, and then you came back and you got behind voter integrity and you worked your ass off for 4 years, and now we've got this beachhead, and now we're expanding it, and now, I mean, it's just incredible. General, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you, Alex. And this is a really super important time. Trump, I want people to understand that Trump's strategy for what he is doing right now, very calculated and very purposeful. And now that he's got his team on board, you can see that, the guns are coming out metaphorically, right? And Comey is going to be one of the first targets, because what is going to happen, and this is why I think you're absolutely right, that within the next probably 60 days or so, we're going to hear about indictments coming against him and others. There are going to be grand juries sealed and such, and that kind of stuff will go along. But between Cash, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, President Trump, and then others of us that are involved in some of these aspects of what we're trying to do, Comey is going to fold. And he's going to fold like a cheap cigar, because once these people are, the evidence is there, Jim. You didn't destroy any of it. The agents are still there. In some cases, they're still working inside the FBI, or they're out. They will be brought back in. So all of this is now going to come to a big head. And it won't just be Jim Comey, because Jim Comey is going to be asked about, well, who else knew about it? Did you brief Barack Obama? Did you brief the Attorney General at the time? Did you speak to Jim Clapper? Did you speak to John Brennan? Did you speak to Susan Rice? Did you speak to Sally Yates? Who else was part of this conspiracy to undermine, at the time, the candidate of a major political party, Donald J. Trump, during the 2016 timeframe? And then all of that then led into Russiagate, right? Led into the initial components of the coup to basically take down America, destroy this country as we know it, and turn it into part of the one world order that the globalists want. So Jim Comey is the first target, just like I was the first target in the Trump administration in 2016, 2017 timeframe. Jim Comey, believe me, once the evidence is shown to him and he knows it's there. He knows exactly what the problem is, and he is not going to get away with this. So Jim Comey ought to go to the tall man's shop, get measured for an orange jumpsuit, and because he's going to go to prison whether he likes it or not. Now, the only thing he could do is maybe cut a deal and lessen his sentence and offer some of the other conspirators who were part of this. There are agents inside of the FBI. They're not going to go to jail for Jim Comey, believe me, that were part of this, that he directed to do this, right? So everything that is happening, this sort of breaking news about going after Jim Comey to today's cabinet meeting, and now that everybody's out, now that the media is out of the room, Trump is going to, he's going to lay out a strategic direction that he's taking. Remember, we've only been at this for 5 weeks now in his administration. It feels like he's been doing this for years. Thank God we have President Donald J. Trump. The people that did this, this ties into what Tulsi Gabbard just did to basically revoke the security clearances of all these minions who are operating porn sites on classified. The behavior, Alex, inside of our government has been going on for a long, long time, and it is because of the arrogance and the selfishness of people like Jim Comey, and he's a reflection of many others that rose to that level under the Obama regime, and then of course many of them came back under the Biden regime after Biden stole the election.
Yeah. Notice he said what we're trying to do, but he is going over stuff that relates to what led up to the criminality in Ukraine, what led up to Trump being ousted from office, Trump being frustrated while he was in office, how they even went so far as to do the lockdowns and the masks and shut down the economy and anything they could to keep Trump out, because everything is going to come tumbling down. And I was thinking, I got to play some clips from the they're scrambled up, but I'll play them. What I think this meeting with Zelenskyy did, it laid out a timeline. Trump repeated several times that they broke the deals under Obama, Bush, and Biden. They never broke a deal under Trump. Trump gave them Obama gave them sheets and blankets. Trump gave them javelins. Okay? In other words, stolen, okay? And then the other word is elections have consequences, starts war. But why? Why would they do it? Flynn said it, the one world order, okay? The one world order. So let me go through some of these clips of the meeting. Let me see here. They're out of order, but we can take a look at it. You can see Trump driving the point home numerous times. It never would have happened. Under me, this never would have happened. And even at one point, Zelenskyy says, the people elected me and they elected Biden. Well, did they really? Because Zelenskyy canceled his elections. He's been coasting since last year as a little leader of a military junta. Look at the way he's dressing. But anyway, let me play this clip. I don't even know what it is.
sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make
Um,
because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that.
There he did a recap. He did a recap, okay, of the 51 agents, all the stuff we know about. How many people don't even know? But we know it, and people say, oh, Trump always says the same thing over and over again. Well, it's not for our benefit. It's for people that haven't heard this stuff yet. Haven't heard this stuff. Here's another clip. Let's see what this is, I believe, a little bit before the blow up or during, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll play some clips where you can see Zelenskyy is signaling that he's not going to give on anything. He wants all the land back. He came in and gave pictures of people he claims were prisoners that lost a lot of weight and were abused, saying that Putin broke the laws of war. And, what does he want? He wants Europe and America to attack and unseat Putin. He wants Europe and America to attack and kick Russia out of Crimea and the Donbass. Good luck with that. But that's what he's saying. That's the only thing he'll listen to. But anyway, let me see what this clip is.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this, I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on out here. I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
I can tell you
You're
again,
running low
I know.
on soldiers.
Listen,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than it.
Yeah, you can see Trump's working him hard. And that, again, that's the third time in a row he's bringing up the fact you don't have any cards. But Trump is pointing out Zelensky is saying he wants guarantees. In other words, us to put troops on the ground. It's a trap. This is where I put the Star Wars general, was Admiral Akbar or whatever his name was, the fish saying it's a trap. They're trying to goad America into boots on the ground, and then somebody is going to launch something. And next thing you know, we'll be in a full-blown conflict. But you can see Trump is doing two things. He's laying out the facts. He's pointing out that this stuff happened while he was out of office and never would have happened if he was still in office. And Zelensky doesn't have anywhere else to go. And they're biting the hand that's been feeding him.
Aligned with Putin? I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes.
So that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Zelensky's future. Clandestine agrees with you. Zelensky is a DEAD man walking. Be careful with your keywords, folks, because I'm going to take down comments, okay, if people just spell out words that violate the trust and then the safety policy of this channel. And they keep it up, they're going to be gone. I spell the words out for a reason. He has two options. A, surrender, agree to ceasefire. Trump finds out where the money went in Ukraine, and he's a goner. B, don't surrender. Trump shuts off all support. Putin takes all of Ukraine, and he's a goner. Pick your poison. At least option A will spare the lives of many innocent Ukrainian and Russian soldiers. But no matter how you slice it, there's no scenario where Zelensky survives this. Zelensky just dug his own grave in front of the entire world. Now, that's one way to look at it, but you can also look at it that he is playing a role. Look at his look on the face standing next to Trump. He came to the White House ready to play the role. He didn't smile. He wasn't polite. He was told many times not to wear that goofball outfit to show some respect. That's very publicly been put out there. And he still performed the way he did. But it gave Vance and Trump the opportunity to set the record straight. Let me see what this one is. Oh, that's General Flynn again. That's the one I put up yesterday. Get the names of the guilty, perp walk them, publicly arrest them. You know what I'm thinking? And I know it's a pipe dream, but Flynn is saying 60 days or so we're going to be looking at Comey getting arrested. Wouldn't it be a good time at the Oscars to just round them all up at the Oscars? We'll give you a list of everybody we arrested, or you can see it on screen while we do it. That's your list right there. Part 1. Remember Ricky Gervais calling them all out? Telling them they were all preverts in P3DO files? Where else would you have a bigger concentration of that kind of evil but the Oscars? Just me saying it would be a good place to start and talk about being bigger than the Super Bowl. You don't have to do like Tom Homan saying, run around looking for them and get the layout of the house so you can do a raid at each and every star. Do you guys think I'm crazy? Or does that sound like a possibility? If it's going to happen, Kash Patel says it's going to happen. General Flynn says it's going to happen. Pam Bondi says it's going to happen. All these traffickers and abusers, human rights abusers, if you know what I mean, are all going to be arrested. Why wouldn't you do it when they're all in the same place? When they least expect it. Everybody's thinking, oh, Comey's going to be the first one. We're going to see it in 60 days. Oh, we got to go to the Oscars. Yeah. Make sure you dress up real nice. And it'd be a hell of a show. But anyway, UKR, Ukraine leaks, put this out. The UN has suspended financial aid, quote, in some regions of Ukraine due to a reduction in U.S. support. This was announced by UN Secretary General Guterres. Okay, so they're already sucking wind. Remember I played the video last night about this guy, Chris Murphy? Chris Murphy, a senator none of us ever heard of. Just like White House. All of a sudden, these senators that have been laying low for years, not getting into political battle, all of a sudden they're all panicking and going on TV shows and putting out tweets. So then we found out White House's wife got millions of dollars from this U.S. aid crap. This Murphy guy played a video of him last night claiming that planes were falling out of the sky because of Trump. So he got to come out and say, what just happened in the Oval Office was a planned ambush designed to help a brutal Russian dictator and hurt American security. Trump has become Putin's lapdog, and America's global power is hemorrhaging as America sides with dictators over democracy. What an embarrassment. Remember that name. I wonder if he's going to the Oscars. Boy, that's where I hit him. Here you go. Speaking of Zelensky's clothes, Babylon B said Zelensky kicking himself for not wearing his more formal olive green T-shirt to the White House meeting. Yeah, what a bum. But that might be the role he is playing. Whoops, I already put this one up. The joke going around was this was Zelensky's text message after he got thrown out. Can we talk? I'm sorry, Mr. President. You want natural gas? I give you. Can we talk? Here's the Fox News report after he got his ass thrown out. After he got thrown out, Trump Zelensky, and he was rude, he was rolling his eyes, he was interrupting. And for these people that are apologists for Zelensky and doesn't stand up for your own president, you're showing that you got something to hide.
This is what I was told. The president has kicked Zelensky out of the White House. His delegation right now is telling him that he's got to go home. The president felt disrespected. Officials in the room felt that beyond the language barrier that we've heard some discussion about, Zelensky's body language, shrugging and eye rolling, was ungrateful, disrespectful, and the president feels that Zelensky is not ready for peace and he can come back when he's ready to talk about peace, but he's not in that position right now, and Zelensky is being told he's got to go. The lunch that they were supposed to have is sitting right outside the hallway, and the press staffers are going to be eating that lunch. This is really pretty incredible. We see the
Jackie,
SUV,
hang on with us
Zelensky's
one moment.
SUV.
If you look to your left, you're going to see him. Let's watch.
Mr. President, is the deal off? President Zelensky, can you tell us what happened?
On juuri lähdössä valkoiselta talolta. Äsken saimme tietää, että mineraalissopimuksen allekirjoittaminen peruttiin kokonaan ja Zelenskyy juuri astui autoonsa. Sanatoimittaja.
Did you sign the minerals deal? Did you sign the minerals deal?
Why were you so disrespectful to the president?
We may be watching the floor fall through this moment in international relations and diplomacy, or this might be the art of the deal, and we're not going to know for some time. Jackie, it appears that even going into this meeting that this relationship was not great. About a week ago.
Yeah, did you hear that one reporter saying, why were you so disrespectful to the president? That's the kind of reporters we need. And here is a list of, a girl did a quick video Zelensky was sending out, thanking everybody, because Trump said you don't thank anybody. So here's Vladimir Zelensky, and then it's whatever Ukrainian, and yeah, well, all of them can crack open their wallets. Then if he's got this much help, he don't need us, right? He's got plenty of cards to play.
Ever since Zelensky got kicked out of the White House, he's now thanking every world leader, all of them, all over his timeline. Thank you for your support. You support Ukraine, Netherlands, Finland. Look at this. The poor guy's on fire.
Yeah, look at all those cards he got to play. Good for you, Zelensky. So, there's a little bit of language in this, but it's not bad. I'm playing this because the guy's bringing up something not a lot of people bring up, and not a lot of the average person. He mentions the fact that both Obama and Biden were talking with Zelensky behind Putin's back about having Ukraine join NATO, and that has always been a big no-no for 80 years. But anyway, let me go ahead and play it.
Boy, did y'all just see the rumble in the Oval? Zelensky, Vance, and Trump? Boy, I ain't never seen nothing like that before. I mean, I wish it wouldn't have went down the way it did. But real talk, that's what it really looks like. I mean, everybody loves to see the nice handshakes and the great diplomacy at the end of the meeting. But that's the shit that goes down during the meeting. Honestly, let's think about it, man. Zelensky, the jig is up. I mean, I get your passion. I understand your pride. But like Trump, you ain't got no more cards to play. And the American people are not going to fund this war any longer. He said you flirting with World War III. No lies told. But while the United States and Russia were trying to sit there and get to know each other and try to create a path towards peace, you still running around begging people for money, weapons, still trying to keep this thing going. And you knew what you was doing. It is kind of fucked up that you did that in the Oval Office. Zelenskyy knew all those cameras was on, and that was his chance. But JD and Donald Trump did not back down. Of course, the liberal media is going to make it look like Donald Trump was the aggressor and JD. But if you looked at the entire press conference as it led up, Zelenskyy knew exactly what he was going to do. And he got shut down. JD was right. Not one time did that man say he was thankful. And I'll really say this, Donald Trump asked a major question. Why do you hate Putin so much? And yes, you did have an agreement with Russia, but you also went behind Russia's back and started negotiating with Obama. World War III right now. Lives on the line. And we know the track record of European wars. It never ends well. So to all y'all that want to sit back here and attack Donald Trump and JD Vance, although that could have been done behind closed doors, Zelenskyy knew exactly what he was doing. Trump and JD stood on business. Either you sign the agreement or you don't, because the American people are tired of paying for your shit. And like Trump said, you have no more cards left to play. This shit's over.
It's over. You're out of here. Out of here. So I think I do have a clip of that reporter talking about Zelensky's outfit. I'm not sure if this is. Oh, this is where Trump goes hands-on with Zelenskyy. This is the clip that Midas Touch was all upset about, that Trump put his hands on Zelenskyy.
$350 billion. We gave you military equipment, and your men are brave, but they had to use our military. If you didn't have our military equipment, if you didn't.
Oh, God, he assaulted him. He assaulted him. Here's what a guy asked him about a suit. You haven't got a damn suit? Listen to Zelenskyy. He'll catch it. He'll say, I might get a costume. And then some wiseacre remarks about how much the suit would cost.
Second question. My second question for President Zelenskyy. Do you ever? Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting.
I don't have such. I will wear a costume after this war will finish. Okay. Yes, maybe something like yours. Yes, maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe something cheaper, maybe something better than you have. You know, and Trump was nice. So I like your clothes and all this stuff. But, well, you know, Trump could have very easily said, for a man that can afford King Charles's former home for millions of dollars, I'm sure you could get a suit better than that reporter. But Trump didn't do it. He could have done it. He could have done it. Whoa. Let me get this off the screen. There we go. And let's see. We've got... I played that one. All right, we've got Trump outside talking a little bit. I got two clips of him afterwards. And I guess he knew Zelenskyy had already scheduled a interview with Bret Baier. And Zelenskyy did go to that interview. But anyway, Trump is not backing down and being very clear where he stands. If Zelenskyy doesn't come around, we're out. He can row his own damn boat.
Look, I don't trust or distrust anybody. I just want to get a deal done. And if the deal happens, good. But you can't embolden somebody that does not have the cards, and all of a sudden that person says, oh, well, now I can keep fighting. We're not going to keep fighting. We're going to get the war done or let them go and see what happens. Let them fight it out.
Yeah, you either get it done or you fight it out yourself. And it's like he told Keir Starmer yesterday, you think you can handle Russia by yourself? And here's the other part of the interview. It's not all of it, but the salient points, if you're Zelenskyy, you'd be paying attention.
They should have an immediate ceasefire. That was the other thing. He didn't want to do about ceasefire. A ceasefire could take place immediately. A contract, if you want to end the war, you sign up an agreement. That's going to take a period of time. It takes time. I want it to end immediately. And I think if you had a ceasefire, it would be a ceasefire, a real one, that would end it. But he doesn't want to do that. That's fine. Do it better. I want it to end immediately. I want a ceasefire now. He says, oh, I don't want a ceasefire. Well, all of a sudden, he's a big shot because he has the U.S. on his side. Either we're going to end it or let him fight it out. And if he fights it out, it's not going to be pretty. Because without us, he doesn't win. Let me tell you. It doesn't matter what I'm considering. I'm just telling you. You saw what I saw today. That was not a man that wanted to make peace. And I'm only interested if he wants to end the bloodshed. Thank you very much.
Only interested if he wants to end the bloodshed. You can tell by the look on Zelensky's face when he arrived at the White House. He was looking for trouble. And yeah, Marco Rubio, I see that comment. Marco Rubio, television shows he was mad. And not only him, but let's see, Rubio is not going to release any money to help them rebuild their energy systems. And Hegseth said that they were stopping all the intel collection and reporting on Russian assets using our military satellite capabilities. All that stuff is put on hold. And hey, they keep screwing around. They won't have Starlink. Now, Elon Musk came out the other day and said something about they were trying to say he was going to stop Starlink. And he said, that's a lie. I'm not stopping Starlink to Ukraine. But now that might be another story. Let's see. Speaking of stories, let's see what this is. Roger Kimball. Devin Nunes put this up. Roger Kimball said, I wish to offer a few thoughts on Vladimir Zelensky's self-immolation at the Oval Office. If he were on my Christmas list, I think I might give him a copy of Thucydides' History of the Peloponnesian War. Well, I got one better than that. Look up the history of Prussia. Most notably, East Prussia, okay, where Frederick the Great was buried, okay? The name Prussia as a nation has a national lexicon since 1945. And Prussia was around for 1,000 years. And now East Prussia and called Kaliningrad. So Ukraine can be a memory, just like Prussia. And I think this is a statement, let me see, from Wesley Hunt. I think Devin Nunes put this up too. The era of blank checks is over. For too long, the American taxpayer has been forced to fund endless wars with no accountability. That ends now. Today, President Trump and Vice President Vance spoke for the American people, the people who shouldered the burden of financing Ukraine's war effort for 3 years. $350 billion poured into conflict with little transparency. not only to be met with defiance, not gratitude. Even Zelenskyy himself has admitted he doesn't know where half the money went, while reports suggest that American dollars have funded luxuries like vineyards and fashion shows instead of the fight against Russian aggression. Zelensky's behavior in the Oval Office today made one thing clear. No amount of support will ever be enough for him. But the days of unchecked aid and performative demands are over. If he returns to Washington again, let it be with a deep and sincere appreciation for the generosity of the American people, not entitlement. And one more thing. Next time, wear a suit. Let's see. Ha ha ha, Mike. How you doing, Mike? Yeah, maybe you should have wore a dress. Hi, Phil. Yeah, I don't know if he owns land in Florida or not, but I don't think DeSantis would be on that, like, be all over him like a cheap suit. Ha ha. Let's see. I don't know. It all depends on what role Zelensky's playing. Let's see what this is. Microsoft. I don't know what to make of this, folks. Because we all know who's involved with Microsoft, right? Acquired Skype for $8.5 billion in a deal back in 2011. They're shutting it down May 5th, 2025. On May 5th, Microsoft Skype will shut down for good. So I don't know what's going on with that. Okay? I don't know. I just think it's odd. Odd. Oh, Dan Scavino put this up. I didn't get a picture of the letter. Oh, no, this is something else. This is essentially a threat from the deep state to President Trump. This was posted today by Truth Social, DJT, okay? Retruth this. This is essentially a threat from the deep state to President Trump. A real battle is brewing here. Will Kane says this is incredibly concerning. What are they talking about? I got a clip to play you. A threat from the deep state. Here it is. We talked a little bit about this. Christy Nome says she has a handle on it. We shall see.
I will say, though, Will, one thing that has me really concerned, and I know that Pete is somebody who is very capable. My dad is capable. Dan is capable. Cash is capable. Tulsi is capable. This article from CNN made me pause because it essentially is a veiled threat, maybe an overt threat against this admin. The title of this article from CNN is "How Trump's Government Cutting Moves Risks Exposing the CIA's Secret." And this piece is essentially dedicated to amplifying threats from anonymous intelligence officials. And the message to Trump is, if you start firing people, agents may just sell out America to our enemies abroad. And this insubordination is being felt across the federal government, CIA, DOD, DOT, HS, it doesn't matter. Are you worried about this?
I think we have to be worried about this as a practical matter. The idea that you can't cut the federal government because the federal government will turn against you, that's on its face incredibly concerning, but also obvious. We saw that happen during the first Trump administration. The federal government, the bureaucracy, turned on the democracy, turned on the people and the people's elected representative in Donald Trump. What you see here on a practical level, you could say, yeah, oh my gosh, people with high level clearances and secrets have now been fired. What kind of grudges might they hold? We see that in the private sector, right? We see that all the time. All of a sudden, I don't work for you. Now my allegiances aren't to you anymore. In fact, I'll burn what I know about you to advance myself. What's concerning about that is that if that exists inside the federal government, and specifically within the CIA, with people that could sell secrets to our foreign adversaries, that what's driving these federal bureaucrats is careerism and not patriotism. I don't know if that's too much to ask of everybody that works for the government. You know, I said this earlier this week. I think Dan Bongino is a great example of this. Like, Dan doesn't have to go work for the FBI. I mean, Dan makes a lot of money on a very successful podcast and a very, very successful radio show. And it shows an element of patriotism to set all that aside to go serve in the FBI. I can't expect everyone to come at it from the position that Dan does, but I would like to think there is some element of patriotism inside everyone who's working at the CIA. You don't get rich. Like, it's not a job that you make a ton of money on. So why do you do it? Why do you put your life in jeopardy? Why do you devote your life to something that, at least as when I watch Lioness, doesn't look like a very good life, working for the CIA? So you would think the answer is patriotism. And if you dissolve your patriotism this easily and you're willing to go sell it inside the CIA.
Yeah, we got people that would sell out. They've already sold out. But for them to threaten to let secrets out to foreign adversaries, I want to remind you all, we talked about this with what they did to Catherine Herridge. They seized all her paperwork, and a judge fined her something like $5,000 a week if she didn't disclose her sources. So that sword can cut two ways, but with CNN. But the other thing is that, remember, Adam Schiff got secret warrants against Devin Nunes and other members of Congress to get their phone records, tap their phone calls, and the phone calls of media. So those things, I believe, are ongoing, okay? And there's something else I'm going to bring up in a minute about what's going on. Let me see these articles here. I already did Adam Schiff. Who's this? Viktor Orban. His comments about Zelenskyy. Strong men make peace. Weak men make war. Today, President Donald Trump stood bravely for peace, even if it was difficult for many to digest. Thank you, Mr. President. And we know the left hates Orban. Here's The Economist put a cover up of their magazine. And I guess they're trying to insinuate Trump is a mafia boss or criminal of some sort, the Don's New World Order. And the caption below it says, The Economist has released a special issue titled The Don's New World Order. On the cover are Donald Trump, Erdogan, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and Netanyahu. Well, if they want to make Trump look bad, you know what? The fact of the matter is, he's a leader. He's the world leader. They are following him. And who else is he going to deal with? Who else is he going to deal with? Zelenskyy? Or Macron? No, he's going to deal with the people that are movers and shakers and that can make a difference. And he is the leader. And that's what I got to say about that. This is what a member of parliament in Ukraine said about what happened today. This is just idiocy. The U.S. will completely shut down aid to Ukraine. MP Gorchenko said, or however you say his name, commented on the conflict between Zelensky and Trump. It is very good to put pressure on the interests of the state, to defend positions, to fight for our interests. It's another thing to fight for your ego and to try to show how cool you are. Talking about Zelensky, this is just idiocy. With one hand, we give away our minerals. With the other, we could also take away the aid that we could somehow receive. So in other words, he could have did the mineral deal. We have a very prognosis for the outcome of what happened. The U.S. will completely cut off aid to Ukraine. The U.S. will stop the transfer of intelligence data on Ukraine. That's already happened. 3, there's a possible threat of a Starlink shutdown. Right now, Zelensky has put millions of people at risk, and this is madness, the MP added. Let's think about it now. Who is most happy about what happened today? I think it's Putin. Imagine, you fought for 3 years with Ukraine and couldn't win because the Ukrainian people showed themselves heroically and the whole world united around us. And now Ukraine's most important ally, in fact, broke off all relations with us live on air. Who do you think will benefit from this? Ukraine? Our army? Our people? Our nation? No. And it's just the height of cynicism to sit and praise Sanyich, that's his nickname, Zelensky's nickname, from warm Kiev apartments and bars. I have no words. Goncharenko also wrote. So he's losing support from members of parliament. Everything was ready for the sign. They call it a fossil agreement. Trump calls it raw earth instead of rare earth, but you know what they mean. After which there was supposed to be a press conference. There were tables, pens were on the table, but everything fell apart. Sky News was reporting. A diplomatic disaster. There's no other way to describe it. Of all possible outcomes of today's high-stake meeting with the White House, Zelensky and Trump screaming at each other was not what anyone had pictured. I pictured the toilet scene. But anyway, it goes beyond the worst-case scenario. With that, months, years of careful diplomacy by Ukrainian officials and diplomats went up in smoke. When the smoke cleared, Ukrainian American relations were left lying in a pool of BLOOD, a Telegraph correspondent reported. This is something else Clandestine put out. Zelensky, and I agree with this, paraphrases what I've said. Zelensky just gave Trump a golden ticket. Now Trump has the optics to shut down all aid to Ukraine, turn up the heat on investigations into the money laundering, and negotiations with Putin just got easier. This was a massive turning point for public perception of Ukraine. And I'd argue we are now closer to peace now that Trump no longer has to worry about being seemingly supportive of Ukraine. He can come to terms with Putin, and Zelensky will remain at the kids' table while the adults determine his fate. Today, the veil was lifted. Yeah, people, even if they can't stand Trump, they're going to sit here and review that whole thing and listen to what Zelensky had to say. But anyway, this is a guy over in Ukraine because they're in a cash crisis. Their Harvernia is what they're called, are not worth squat. But anyway, this guy says, I don't know what to do. I exchanged dollars for pounds. Wrote Monobank co-owner Gorokowski, whatever. He kind of screwed up there. Trump kicked out Zelenskyy, Bild reported. This goes beyond the worst-case scenario for Ukraine, the Telegraph wrote, after Zelensky's meeting with Trump. That's how they were reporting it in real time. Whoops. As it was going down. It was just one of the things where you sit there with your mouth hanging open going, what the hell happened? Oh, I'm sure you all have heard of this. NBC News. Apple says a bug caused its iPhone voice-to-text feature to spit out Trump when a user says racist. The company says it's rolling out a fix Tuesday, but the issue has spurred outrage. People were doing it all day today. And some blue-haired, skinny-jeaned freak working at Apple on company time made it where the app would say Trump's name. Idiots. Dan Scavino put this out. In President Trump's first week back in office, he told the world we were going to find the jihadi terrorists. What else did he say he was going to do? I'm going to get into that. The cartels. You know, this isn't the only game in town, is Zelenskyy. It's not the only game in town. There's a lot of stuff going on worldwide. But anyway, that mean to do Americans harm, bring them to ultimate justice. In just the past week, under the leadership of our great Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, our warfighters have ended the lives of 5 more high-value targets. The no longer living terrorists include members of Al-Qaeda in Syria, 3 members of ISIS in Somalia. If you're a jihadi who wants to hurt us, it doesn't matter where you hide. America's warriors will not stop hunting you until they find you. Guess what? I put up that little meme yesterday of the Mexican president, okay? Right here. Remember this? Trump's been to 2 different countries in just the past couple of days, Syria and Somalia, to go after people that are trying to hurt Americans. So I want to remind you all of when Trump was given a press conference when the illness came out. And Millie was talking about we had 2 battle groups, 2 aircraft carriers, one going down the Pacific coast of Mexico, okay, the other in the Gulf of America, all right, and they were conducting military operations about human trafficking. Remember that? That was in 2019. I will bet you dollars to donuts that they were doing operations, blackout, dark, the same type of surveillance that they were doing over Bedminster and New Jersey with drones. We've had that technology for years and years. They can map out terrain with AI and quantum computing. They can have every tree, every shrub mapped out, know the elevations. Is it on a hill this high over sea level, or is it down in a gully? How many bedrooms a house has with infrared cameras? Where their bases are, where their poppy fields are, where they keep their guard dogs, everything. I believe that was what was happening during that operation that Millie was talking about before he went south. Look for strikes on the cartels. Here's a big story. And those of you who have been with me for a while may remember about something I discussed that upset me greatly, where I had talked about an agent, a DEA agent during the Reagan administration, who was brutalized and lost his life because of a cartel. And I was shocked to hear that this person they captured got out of jail. And I said Donald Trump was going to get him back. We're talking 1985, okay? This guy was in jail for a number of years. Somebody let him out in 2000. And I said I didn't want to talk in specifics because out of respect for the agent's family, what they did to that. And I want to know if they also got the doctor was involved. They had a doctor for the express purpose of reviving this agent so he could suffer as much as possible, to extend his life through medications that would pull him out of a shock, make him regain consciousness. I won't even describe to you the horrible things they did. And back in 1985, there were people in America that would have, at the drop of a hat, rolled into Mexico with a vengeance from hell over this situation. They reportedly captured this creep, and I thought it was the end of it. Well, those of you who have been with me for a while will remember I talked about this about a year ago. Here is where Mexico has cracked, okay? And they've sent, I believe, 29 top cartel members to America. One of them is that cartel leader that committed that heinous act and was let go or allowed to escape during the Obama administration.
To a Fox News alert today, 2 of the 29 cartel members who were just extradited to the U.S. from Mexico, including one accused of killing a DEA agent back in 1985, will appear in a New York court today.
Chanley Painter is here with all the details for us. Chanley?
Hey, good morning. So at least 2 of those defendants will be arraigned today in Brooklyn federal court, according to Reuters, including a drug lord who is alleged to have been among those responsible for the murder of a U.S. DEA agent, Enrique Kiki Camara, in 1985. This comes as Mexico on Thursday handed over 29 high-profile drug cartel members to the United States as part of an unprecedented extradition as the Trump administration ramps up pressure on drug trafficking organizations, illegal immigration, and fentanyl production. According to prosecutors, the prisoners face charges related to drug trafficking and, in some cases, homicide, among other crimes. And among them are members of 5 of the 6 Mexican organized crime groups designated earlier this month as foreign terrorist organizations by the Trump administration, guys.
Chanley, thank you very much. So keep in mind, we heard from the president yesterday that the tariffs are coming, and we're going to talk about that throughout the morning. They're going to come down hard on Mexico to the tune of 25%. And when Mexico heard about it, he started negotiating with the president, Sheinbaum, down in Mexico. So what did she do? Just a couple of days before the tariffs are supposed to go into effect, she releases these. We extradite into the United States these 29 jailed cartel members, including somebody who is at the top of the most wanted list for 40 years. She also is pulling out all the stops. They say, this is Mexico's point of view, they've arrested more than 400 people since February, after she announced that they were going to send 10,000 troops to the northern border for them. They've seized 12 tons of narcotics, coke, meth, and 120 pounds of methamphetamines and fentanyl. It's all about trying to keep those tariffs from happening, but they're happening on Tuesday.
Yeah, Donald Trump's going to hold them accountable. He wants this to end. He wants them to protect the borders. He wants them to stop allowing individuals, especially cartel members, people bringing fentanyl over, trafficking children across the border.
But the cartel can't be happy. I mean, Mexico is a narco state. And now, because of the president's pressure, their number one enterprise, which is getting the people across the border, people pay tens of thousands of dollars to get across the border. That has been totally disrupted. Now you have the Mexican president turning over the bosses, because just because they're in jail doesn't mean they're not running the criminal enterprise from jail as well. And their tunnels are being sealed with concrete. I mean, it's pretty much all.
From a now defunct cartel. They've been in prison that long. There were cartel leaders, security chiefs from both factions of the Sinaloa cartel, including their finance operatives. Because guess what happens when they're here? We get to talk to them, and we get to interrogate them. We get to unwind them, and we say we can use their conditions as a way of getting them to talk. And it also goes to show those people that are now out and functioning in Mexico, this is what you're looking at. Retribution American style. You're going to be extradited out here. You're not going to have a cushy situation where the cartels, some would say, are more powerful than the government. So this is almost an out for the president of Mexico, perhaps to get control of their country for the first time in decades.
That's right. You're going to be in a box for 23 hours out of the day, no windows, and you may get some sunlight for 45 minutes a day. That can get people to talk.
Well, so she's trying to make nice with Trump. It's not going to work because he's going to still levy those tariffs on them. But what impressed me is just the fact that the DEA has had this picture of this agent who was murdered by this guy, murdered in 1985, up on the wall. And they've been looking for this particular guy. This particular kingpin was convicted down in Mexico, and he was supposed to serve 40 years in prison. But then in 2012, inexplicably, suddenly he's out. He was recaptured 10 years later, and we've been waiting to get our hands on him. And now we've got it.
And you saw the video of him landing in New York City yesterday.
Nothing certain in the tariff world. It could change.
It's a negotiation, and I like that we continue to get stuff as he uses it as a negotiation tool.
Right. The problem with the negotiation is it scares the living daylights out of Wall Street. Yeah. Wall Street went.
Wall Street will be all right. He ran around loose for 12 years or 13 years, and that was done on the QT. But anyway, my point is that I think Trump communicated to the Scheinbaum, we want that guy, especially that guy, and we don't want you holding him in your prisons. We want his rear end right back here in America. We have a treaty with Mexico where we cannot impose the death penalty. That's just the way it is. But we can make sure that SOB is miserable and he gets 1,650 calories a day, no more, no less, just like a prisoner of war under the Geneva Conventions. And he gets to see about an hour of daylight, and the rest of his miserable life is as miserable as we can lawfully make it. So, anyway, that's a bit of good news in my book. So, let me see this. Here we go. Laura Loomer put this out, and this is something I was going to put out with that thing with Pam Bondi. A lot of conservatives are mad about that Epsteinio list thing. Pam Bondi's past ties to globalist figures sparks concern over botched disclosure of Epstein files. Her past support endorsement of people like Jeb Bush have ignited scrutiny regarding her commitment. Well, if they're holding it back from her, and Laura Loomer, she's flying a little bit off the handle, I think, but it's good to put pressure on people. That's why Pam Bondi sent that letter to Kash Patel. Okay, pretty much unleashing Kash Patel to do whatever the hell he wants to get that information. I could be wrong. And I haven't watched the Oscars in years. But man, wouldn't I love exit blocked and maybe even Donald Trump himself going up to the podium and saying, everybody stay calm. The majority of you are under arrest. And have the cameras rolling. That's what I'd like to see. But it's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream. Whoops. That's the wrong one. Donald Trump put this up. The Department of Justice has returned the boxes that deranged Jack Smith made such a big deal about. They are being brought down to Florida and will someday be a part of the Trump Presidential Library. And they better give him back Shinzo Abe's Golden Golf Club, too. Justice finally won out. I did absolutely nothing wrong. This was merely an attack on a political opponent that obviously did not work well. Justice in our country will now be restored. So the commies at the National Library had to cough up Trump's paperwork, not anybody else's. Trump's. I had a couple of posts. I'm going to go over the CUE posts. Okay, I go over them in a future broadcast. But just a little something to remind you all what this is all about. Let me see what's going on in the chats. How is everybody doing? Yeah, hi, Angela. All right. Well, so, wow, my broadcasts have been going on for a long time. You know I'm simulcasting on Bumble as we speak, and I hope it's been there also on Bumble. And I'm looking to see if I can play a nice little clip for the way out. I don't know. Let's see. What can I play? Maybe I will play. Here, I've had this meme for a while. This is what's coming in the future. Okay. This Epstein list might bring down John Roberts. And we're going to be looking at Clarence Thomas as Chief Justice. You can bet your bippy on that. I'll go ahead and play this one. What the heck, folks? And I have a link for Buy Me a Coffee in the description. I want to thank Mike and Bev for helping sponsor last night's program. Angela helped out also. And we're closing out this month. Man, time is marching on. I want to thank everybody who's going to Buy Me a Coffee to help out. This is a totally viewer-supported channel. I don't get anything from you, Tizzle. So the help is greatly appreciated. So anyway, as usual, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And if something big happens, I will be going live tomorrow night. If not, I'll see you in the future. If you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live, and you can participate in the chats or just watch the chats go by. But anyway, this is a little something for Letitia James on the way out. You all have a great night. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Tish James, the New York Attorney General, I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against. Listen here, sweetheart. We're not messing around this time for conspiracy against rights, and I promise you that. So think long and constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again.
We've been warning people on the show, Mike, this isn't the same Trump administration. Stop messing around. Don't rig elections. Don't illegally vote. Don't try the funny business, because we know the team this time and they are not effing around.